Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to this game tutorial. Today we are going to be creating something quite cool. So up here, as you can tell, there's like 4 new buttons. They basically control the timescale. Right now they're on normal timescale, I just have a really high speed. But if we just put that on 0, whenever there's people around, so here, I'm actually pausing the game. And then I can move around, look at my tower, do whatever I feel like doing. And we actually put game on pause basically, but we still have access to the UI, we still have access to pretty much everything, so the application is still responsive, and we can even start a boost morale if you wish. However, this is not going to get drained because, as you could tell, the game is on pause. Now we'll go back to our normal timescale, and that's the bug. We will also introduce some bugs, don't worry about that. And we just go to normal speed. Now there's also going twice as fast, so as you could tell, everything is being completed but twice as fast. And there's also the 3 times. Now, you can be putting that on 10 times if you wish. It's just going to be a little bit hard to process for your phone. But that's what we do today. So we create another timescale, which is going to allow you to complete like waves quite faster. Like the early waves that you know you're able to pretty much win every time. You're going to be able to complete them faster. And also abilities such as this, we play an ad. And it actually goes down 3 times as fast now. Alright guys, so that's what we'll be doing in this episode. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so like I said in the preview, we are going to be creating some kind of speeding up mechanic for our game. So only for the gameplay actually. We don't want to speed up the menu, we don't want to speed up the combat text. And yes, that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, a quick note that I'd like to just share with you before we start this episode is we could have gotten, we could have made this really super simple by actually just modifying the timescale. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. I'll actually do it right away. What we could have done, and we are going to partially do, so you can do it as well because we're going to need that in the future, is head over to our game scene, create a new UI, and say a panel UI. I'll just anchor this top left and give it, say, a width of 200 and a height of 75 or 50. Doesn't have to be that big. And then I'll just change its position, and what I'll do in here is I'll put a horizontal layout group. This is going to be the time panel, and under the time panel I create 3 buttons. So that's the first one. That's going to be a pause button, so just type in pause. Next one is going to be normal time. Next one is going to be twice normal time. And let's just say 3 times. 3 times normal time. Whatever, it's just a times 3, basically, of the normal timescale. And here they are. I think they're pretty messed up right now. If I just move this button around, it should fix everything. Okay, there it is. So all of these are buttons. They should be, oh no, they're text actually. My bad, I'm going to start over. So this is the pause button. Next one, next one, next one. Okay, so you get the idea. So we've got 4 buttons. The first one being the pause, the second one being 1, this one is 2, and this one is 3 in terms of timescale. So what we're going to be doing partially is we're going to be assigning a function to that button that is going to modify the timescale of the game. And what I mean by that is we are going to head over to the game manager, which is right here, and we are going to open it up. Inside of here, anywhere really, you are going to sprout a new function that we'll call modify timescale or something like that. It has to be public because we're going to be calling it from a button. So I'll just go ahead and say public void mod timescale with an actual amount. So oops, float amount, and we're going to say this is going to change in the near future. We're going to say time.timescale is equal to amount. Now, if we go inside of the game and we actually link this button, all of these buttons with the function we just made, so we go over here, that is the pause, we click on unclick, drag in the manager in there, find the game manager, and now the modify timescale. Here it is. So the pause button is on 0. That means it's going to do a times 0 on the timescale, which means it's pretty much not going to be active. Same thing over here. That's for timescale 1. Where is it at? Over here. Okay, that's 1. Now let's go for the second. And finally, the third. And here we go. Now, what I said earlier is that we could actually stop here and call it a day and have our episode done, I guess. But what's going to happen, and I'll show it to you in a moment. Say you're playing the game, that everything is fine, okay, you're going at normal speed, now you pause. And that's cool. As you can tell, the bullet has been paused. The enemy doesn't come close. I go back to a normal time. I'm a little bit bored, so I just speed up the thing twice, and now I'm a little bit bored again. I just speed up the time 3 times. And here you go. The game just runs faster, and it is a lot of good times. However, if you notice something, the combat text goes 3 times faster as well. And the UI, if we had any menu animation, they would be completed 3 times faster as well. And plus, when we exit this, as you can tell, every single part of our game is actually faster now. And that includes the tradesman's research, or any kind of research really. So I don't know if this is something I want, if this is something we should actually allow, but there is definitely a few things that should not be on that very timescale, such as rotating the camera around. This is actually speed up as well. So what I'll be doing is I will create another class, a static class, just to handle time, and we're gonna have our own time value in there. So let's get started right away. I'm going to right click on script, go over to the C# script, and we're gonna call this N3K time, or just whatever time you wish. This is going to be a static class. So we're not inheriting from MonoBehavior, and we are going to type in the keyword static up here. The things we need to keep track in here are basically a private float that I'll just call time, or I'll call it time with no capital letter, and then a private float that we will, which one is it? That's the timescale, so timescale is equal to 1 at first. Let's have a public, you know what, let's actually put that, let's remove the private float, and let's do public static float that we'll call timescale, this one with a capital, and we're gonna have a set and get on this. Alright, that works fine. And public static float time, public static float update time, which you'll see what I'll use this for in a moment, and finally public static float delta time. And let's actually make this a property, why not? So instead of that property, we only have a get, and the get says you're gonna return time.delta time, the normal one, times my timescale. Okay, and inside the update time, what could we be doing actually? So we're gonna be calling this every frame from a normal update, and let's just say time plus equal delta time, our own delta time. So it's actually going to filter if it's on pause or not. And I think that's it really. I'm not quite sure if it's going to work 100%, but let's actually try this out. Now, since this is a static object, everything in there has to be static, and that's fine, everything is cool, but then we don't have access to MonoBehavior, which means we don't really have an update, a real update. So we're gonna need to call this from another update that we know is run every second our game is running, basically. Now, there's only one of those, and it is inside of the tower script. So head over to the tower script, and at the very top of your update, this has to be ran every frame. We're going to say n3k time dot update time. Update our own timescale for swag purposes. You get the idea. Alright, let's actually give this a try. Doesn't seem to be crashing. Good times. Nice, we do get this problem over here. Oh, this is returning a float. This should not return a float. My bad. Good. And everything seems to be working. So now what we need to do is actually plug in that thing at places that matters. We should also be getting the time, so I didn't do that, but let's do a public static float time, and we put a get in there. That's get return time. Just like this, and we should be good now. What is the problem I have? Probably some kind of syntax error that I can't even see. So type float does not contain a delta time what? Oh, okay, so it's like a conflict with the actual Unity one. So I'll do Unity engine, I think, Unity engine dot time dot delta time. Alright, so it does not get confused with my own time thing. Alright, last try. Nice, everything seems to be working good now. We are going to go ahead and go back inside of our game manager over here in our modified timescale. We are going to say n3k time dot timescale is equal to amount. Oh, and something we need to do as well that I didn't do. Let's go inside of the tower script once more, find the start. And over here we're gonna say n3k times dot timescale is equal to 1. Because it is not equal to anything right here, so it's just a float, a default float, and a default float basically means that it is on 0. Alright, so everything needs to be working now. If we go in the game, we just play, there should not be any changes because we're not using the delta time anywhere. I'm just making sure though. Okay, so this actually does not do anything, which is perfect. We are going to go back inside of the tower script, and where exactly, what is it, the elements that we should be modifying whenever we increment that? There is the spanning of the enemies, there is the shooting of the tower, there is... That's pretty much it, actually. Yeah, these two things, at least. And maybe if we do feel like it's a good idea, we can also put the timers on there, so the whole total playtime would be modified as well, but I don't know if it's a good idea or not. Yeah, never mind, it is a good idea, because then if people just want to be spamming stuff, they can put the game on pause, and then just have boost morale up 100% of the time. Okay, so we're going to be putting the timers on that. Let's quickly go back to the update inside of the tower script, and over here we look for enemy every single, what is it, last attack, get stat value speed. Okay, so that's our shooting mechanic right there. Let's actually try to put n3k time dot time just to see what happens with this. And I have a feeling this is going to turn out really bad. Okay, thus far it's not awful. And if I speed it up, yeah, there is definitely something wrong here. Alright, let's go back and actually check out what is the problem. Okay, never mind. Okay, so it does work. And if I press on 0 right now, no blood's going to be shot at all. Yeah, okay, so that does make sense. It is because the travel time is actually on another time scale. So where is the actual travel time? Is it right here in the shoot enemy? No, it's actually in the projectile. Okay, so let's just keep reading through that, and we're gonna be modifying where we need to modify stuff. Well, regenerate hit point has to be changed as well, but first I'd like to go under the projectile. So double click on projectile, then hit F12. We are going to go in their update. So inside of their update, we are going to head over to the position update, and over there we do a times the time the delta time with a weird hard-coded value. But anyway, let's change the delta time for n3k time delta time, and that should actually fix our shooting. So that's the first thing we need to fix. Then we're gonna add on to doing the actual the other thing, the regen. So as you can tell, we did manage to stop the bullet midway, and then we're gonna start it over again, or 3 times as fast, and it's perfect. Okay, so we got this whole shooting thing done. Let's do the regen next because it's fairly easy. But basically what I'm saying is that our time function, our time class, seems to be working just fine right now, and we can actually trust it to a certain extent and just modify stuff without testing it every time. So n3k_time in the regen hit point, and same thing down here. And we don't do any other delta time, that's good. Let's keep scrolling down. I don't think we have anything else to do inside of the tower script. Nope, that is all the nice saving function that we've done last episode. Good times. Alright, let's head over to... where could we go now? We could go over to the game manager. So let's do that. We're gonna head over to the game manager, find the update. And over here, so... we're spawning enemy. We need to change that as well. So if n3k_time minus last wave time, that's good, blah blah blah, shoot. Then we just keep on going like this. So we actually set the time here. Alright. We don't seem to be doing that. So we have the last wave completed down there as well. So I'm just going to copy this over. And there we go. And down there as well, send 3k time, minus last wave completed, blah blah blah, good times. Okay. Now do we have any other thing that goes inside of that update? We probably do, and I'm just going to check really quickly. Last wave time is equal to time.time, we need to remove that. We do n3k_time. Now what else? I feel like I've been saying that word quite a lot this episode. Time. Tower def. Doesn't seem to have anything in there. On option, doesn't seem to have anything in there. Now, modify timescale, obviously. Oh, and something that we need to do, and I haven't really mentioned, is whenever we leave that scene, whenever we leave that game scene, we need to actually put the timescale back on 1. So we'll do n3k_time.timescale, or you know what, let's just do modify timescale. So modify timescale 1. As simple as that. And also make sure it is before we do the load scene thing. I don't know why, I just feel like I don't want to like destroy the game manager before I do the modify timescale. So that's why it kind of gotta be on top. But I'm not sure if it would work or not, because the scene actually takes a whole frame to load. Anyway, just to be safe, put it on top of the load scene. So that's good. Now, oh, regenerate 8 hit point. We didn't do it, did we? No, we did. Okay. So that's cool for that. Let's keep checking. Ability container. Do we have anything in the containers? Oh yeah, we do have these. All the cooldowns. Let's not tackle them right now. The combat text manager. We don't want this to be on our own timescale. We want this to be going at the normal speed, so we don't really care about that. Enemies. Enemies. Launch enemy, that's fine. Remove enemy, that's fine. Is there an update? Oh, the update is over here. So transition plus equal time.delta time, that's wrong. And 3k time.delta time. And let's keep checking. So over here, and 3k time. There and there. Game camera has to be on the normal timescale, so that works. The game UI. I don't even know if you have any time. No, we don't have anything related to time in there. So that's even better. Hub manager, we don't care. Loot container, we also don't care because there's nothing in there. Loot manager either. Loot menu container, that's part of the hub, so we don't care. Pop-up manager, don't care as well. I think that's pretty much it. I'm just looking through that. The spam manager, oh, the spam manager has to do... no, it doesn't actually. We take care of that in the update of the game manager. So I think we've been through all the mechanics we need to change, all the the time that we need to change. Let's give it a try and actually play our game now, see if it's making any sense at all. And here we go. Let's speed this up. And it seems to be working fine, actually. As you can tell, all the menu elements, such as the loot we're getting, they still got the same speed, so we have a good time to actually see them. And they seem to be flickering a bit, which is annoying, but we're gonna find out why eventually. And yeah, we just managed to speed up our game. And if I actually lose, and I go back here, is our time scale still 3? It is, so we gotta be finding a way to just put it back on 0. Well, you know what? Simple. We're gonna go in the game manager. Oops. And just put it in the start. So over here in the start, after the instance actually, n3k time.timescale is equal to 1. Or since we're inside of the game manager, let's do a modified timescale 1. Alright. The next thing we need to tackle, that is actually gameplay, would be these guys down there. If I use this, I have this for 10 seconds, but then it's actually 30 seconds in terms of game. And we do get another bug. We get some interesting bug when we speed up the game. But everything needs to be fixed. And that is something we should get started doing right now. So let's see how we can actually apply our timescale to every single of those abilities and research. So I've opened up the research container and I figured out that down here we do use the time.time. So let's try and change that. That's only for the research. So we're gonna take this, copy it over to the ability container as well. Where is the ability container? First one up here. So in the update, that works. Oh, right here. Total playtime. That is what we use. If total playtime minus last refresh is bigger than the refresh rate, then we do an update container. But now total playtime needs to be modified a little bit. We need to actually put the n3k time.time in there. And this is where it might actually break a lot of things. And hopefully does not, but it actually might. So let's give this a try. So far everything seems to be working just good. We go there. Abilities. We're gonna put our game on ×3, watch an ad, good times, and let's see. And it does go down faster, so we could actually be waiting only 5 minutes. And as soon as we exit the game though, as soon as we exit this game screen, we'll go back to a timescale of 1 and there is actually no way to modify. So in case you do want to do like faster research, kind of cheat, but at the same time it's not really cheating because you're waiting anyway. So in case the player does want to cheat, he's gonna have to stay on that screen. And in fact, something that we might actually want to do, but I don't know if it's a good idea or not, we should actually pause the screen over here. Pause the game, not the screen. So whenever you die, well, all the enemies stop moving and you just have this tower basically being paused. The whole game being paused in general. And then of course we block the button up there so they're not able to actually press on them after seeing the diff recap. So I really don't know what you guys think about that. I'm actually going to implement it. If you like it, just go ahead and implement it as well. If you don't like it, then you don't have to put it. Tower def, where is that? Over there, game manager.instance.towerdef. So whenever we die, modify the timescale, put that on 0, we're pausing the game basically. And that seems to be working good. Do we actually load? Where do we do our load scene? So we do one here and we do modify the timescale, so that works. And that seems to be the only one really, so that's going to work. Alright. Whenever we die, we need to remove that, well, we need to just make sure no buttons of that timescale modifying thing is interactable. So we need to shut down all of these buttons. Now the way we could do it is by simply having a reference to that. So we're going to go at the very top of our game manager, create a new public game object. Or it could be a transform. I just like to have game objects for no particular reason. That we'll call time panel. And now back in our tower def function, I am going to say, where is it at? I'm going to say for each transform t in time panel.transform t.getButton, get component type of button set active, or interactable is equal to false. So we're just putting everything back on false, and we don't give the player any option to actually remove that. So that's good. Let's quickly check this out. Oh, first we need to go back in the game, go under manager, and actually assign that time panel. Here it is. So drag and drop that right in here. Then we can go ahead and hit play, starting from the preloader, of course. We are going to start, go in there. We always get that cloud error. Of course, that's a little bit annoying. And let's just speed this up. I'm actually going to increase the speed of this as well. Why not? And down there, every time we get a call like this, it means it's trying to actually call the report progress. And we might fix that later on, but right now I don't think it's a problem. And let's go ahead and just keep watching this until we die. Now, maybe I shouldn't have boosted my speed. Might take a little while. But as you can tell, the wave actually go quite faster now. We get faster loot, and that's fun, because our game was really slow paced and boring. Now it's not like that anymore, and it's a little bit better. Okay, we're about to die soon. Almost. Next wave, next wave. And there we go. So we pause the game, everything is on pause. We can still rotate the camera, which is the best thing, to be honest. I really like that. So we're still able to rotate the camera. All of these buttons right now, they're inactive and we're not able to click them. And that's it. There's nothing else we can do, basically. We can change our stuff down there, of course. We can start a boost morale if you wish, but there's basically nothing happening except that there seems to be a problem down there. We are instantiating clones. That's a bug we'll need to tackle during the polishing phase of the game. We can also start an ad, which is fine. We just get some more credits. And that's it, really. Nice. And once we go back inside of the game now, everything should be back to normal. Except this thing. Obviously, this is this is definitely something I'm not going to allow. And the next few episodes are all going to be about beta testing and fixing those kind of bugs that we just implemented right now. We might actually use a little bit of duct tape, but it's okay because we're about to finish the game. So, yeah. So we're going to be working on that in the next few episodes, guys. I hope you enjoy. I hope you like. If you did, please leave me a like. I'll really appreciate that. And also leave a comment if you have any comment or question. Thanks for watching again. Subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next episode.